So that was like the rumor. But then the other one that I always heard growing up was that my dad wanted to go live on a farm.
And they only had farms in Wisconsin.
In Ireland. Like, he wanted to like live on a farm like he did in Ireland.
Right.
Because he grew up on a dairy farm.
Yeah.
We did not live on a fucking farm. I don't know why the fuck we lived in Wisconsin. It's still a goddamn mystery to me.
Well, if you're looking for dairy, you go to Wisconsin.
Oh, God, do I know dairy, man. Like, cheese is literally my life.
Between my upbringings.
I am cheese. I am cheese.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Where Is This Going? The podcast about people you probably don't know, but hopefully you will soon grow to enjoy. This is take 2. We had a system malfunction, but we are here in the stooge today with the very funny stand-up comedian from Grand Rapids by way of Racine, Wisconsin. Give it up for Kait, Carmody, everybody. Yeah, cool.
I only take the ferry.
I was gonna
by way. You said by way of Wisconsin, like
way.
My maiden voyage.
What is that ferry called? Do you know?
I've never taken it.
Oh, well, way to just completely out yourself.
And now I don't have
liar.
a car anymore, so I can't take the car on the ferry.
Yeah,
so.
I know, but you should just walk to it. But I know the ferry takes like 3 hours. Anyways. Hi. We'll try to recreate this magic. I don't know where we
You'll want to know me.
We did a new start at the beginning. I'll just break it down to you. I'll be honest. We did a new start, a new technique where we bantered a little bit before we turned the cameras on, got the mics hot before we actually, did the intro. We got comfortable. But like I said, we had a system malfunction. We lost everything. But
lost it in the fire.
We are still here. Neither of us queer.
Pappy couldn't get the dog.
Sorry. I'm talking about queerness, and you're still stuck in character. That is a very historical character.
Really good character work.
But you can catch not so much Kait's character work, but her historical content on her YouTube page. Is it just Kait Comedy?
Kait Comedy.
Yes, and you can catch her intoxicated chats.
Yes.
Chats.
Intoxicated chats.
There we go. Where she dives into history because it's a passion or whatever. What's your deal with history?
I don't know. I think I just am just fascinated by it.
That's weird. No.
I think I don't know. Yeah, it's so weird. I've just always as a kid loved it, loved history. But my history teacher, I'm sorry, Tom. I was a class clown. I would literally just
first name basis though with your teacher. That's nice.
Yeah, I went to a really alternative high school.
I thought you went to a Catholic school. Wait.
No, I went to Catholic.
Oh, okay.
I went to many schools.
I was a jack of all trades. Actually.
I did. No, I only did Catholic school fifth grade and 6th grade.
Oh, okay.
I got to take sex ed in Catholic school,
nice.
Which is no sex ed.
Did you get sex ed in your further education? Because in Michigan they do it again in freshman year.
Yeah. So this was the thing about my high school too, is that when it is a requirement that all high schoolers have to take health class,
right?
To graduate high school.
Mm-hmm.
However, they don't specify that you have to do it in 9th grade. And my school was so small that we were all of the high school was all one thing. So I would have math class with seniors, and I would have science classes with freshmen or whatever. So I could not get into health class at all until I was a senior in high school.
Everyone was filling it, dude.
And it was the funniest thing because they would
I didn't learn about sex until I was 18.
Yeah, I was well, it's fine. I already did my own abstinence.
That's so sad. But that's also
I would be I'm abstinence. I was just ugly. That's what it was. I was ugly and I was a prude.
I would just say, why haven't you had sex yet, Kate? I haven't taken the class.
Yeah, it literally was like I have to wait for instruction. My Irish parents will not talk to me.
That's
why I went to Catholic school.
I wasn't gonna get it at home. I had to wait for the class. I didn't know anything
you weren't
about
gonna
it.
get that at home.
Oh, gee, I didn't learn about sex until the class was made available to
I'm
me.
still convinced my mother is a virgin. I think
you're the holy
one. It was
one.
immaculate. I don't know. To this day, I'm a grown up, and I cannot have a conversation
siblings?
with my mother. Yeah, and none of us can have appropriate conversations with my mother about
sex.
It's awkward.
Well, yeah, I don't think a lot of people just comfortably talk.
No,
to their parents about
I have
sex.
friends that do.
I think your friends may be the minority.
Maybe they have bad moms. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, maybe.
You said it.
Maybe. Don't project, but yeah, maybe their childhood was fucked up. Oh, by the way, you may see Kate drinking a White Claw on camera. That is because she is too impatient. I brought a White Claw for Kate today because if you know Kate, you know her brand is White Claw. She should be a brand ambassador for White Claw.
Sponsor me.
And she's dying for it. And literally, her liver is dying for this promotion. But
no, it's only 100 calories, 0 sugar,
yes.
3 carbs, gluten-free,
Tell
ladies.
me what that does to your liver.
It doesn't say.
It
but
doesn't
it is
say.
malt liquor, so it cannot be good.
All I see is 5%. I don't know.
It's that's it. That's all you need to know. 5%. And it's black cherry, whatever that flavor is. That's not even a real thing. Did you know that?
I did know that. Just like a blue raspberry. You ever find a blue raspberry?
No, but I love blue raspberry.
Exactly. It's a synthetic
I actually just had
flavor.
this conversation with your son, which is wild. When you went in to go get candy, I was like, what other candy do you like? He was like, oh, I love the blue Airheads. And I was like, oh, I love blue candy. And I was like, but it makes my mouth blue and it's weird. And he was like, why is it weird? And I was like, ugh. You're a child.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm a grown up, and it's weird if I have a blue mouth when I go get my Uber Eats from the door. It's weird. So I was like, oh, in his tiny mind, he's like, no, it's really cool to have a blue mouth.
Yeah, when you're an adult, you have to tell people that you come in contact with, hey, I was just eating an Airhead.
Yeah, I was also like, wow, I have not been around children in a long time. I was like, this was very weird for me.
Well, I'm glad I could do that for you.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was a great conversation about candy. I love candy.
Glad.
That's what I told him.
Yeah, my son's a great conversationalist. Yeah. That's what we raise him to be.
Yeah, and he was so polite.
If I have... People tell me I have a great hosting personality or ability or whatever, and that's the only thing I'm trying to instill in my son.
Do you know what it is, though? You include everyone. That's
I try.
Yeah.
I try. The audience.
We can see you.
I try to get our producer in here. He just chuckles.
Which is great. We love the chuckles. We live for that.
Yeah, that's what we're comedians. That's what we live for. And what I was getting to before was...
The White Claw. The White Claw. The White Claw.
The White
Claw.
My
brand.
The one you see.
And I was impatient.
Yes, exactly. That White Claw open and drank and is that a word? Is
okay? But you
drinking?
Opened a beer. Hunter opened a beer, and
fault.
I was like immediately. Like,
I want to say though,
I'm parched.
But you drinking that on camera already is evidence of your impatience. But also, yes, it's due to my. I could have just given you a platinum.
I would have
because that's what I opened. But now I'm out.
But this was like even better than I expected.
Oh no, I know.
This is on brand.
I wish we got the look on your face on camera because that was on brand.
But I did tell you that I would redo it.
But I don't think you could. I don't trust your acting skills. No offense. You're a great comedian, but your acting, yet to see. That's actually my only opinion. I haven't seen you act.
That's fine.
Okay. What was that?
You will.
Was that a scene?
You will.
Staring.
I've already showed that I can stand.
Quit staring at the camera.
I know. I just like the camera loves me.
Anyway, thank you, Kate. Like I said, Kate is a stand-up comedian joining us for our Jokers of January, starting 2021. Because, like I said, we all could use some levity, some laughter, and. Kate's a very funny person. Kate's always not only is she funny, she's very lending of laughs. If you're at an open mic and you only have stand-ups in the crowd, which if you're unfamiliar with stand-up comedy, that happens a lot.
Yeah.
But if you only have stand-ups in the crowd, you want Kait to be there because no matter what, she is encouraging.
I will laugh so hard at everyone because I'm like, not because it's like I feel bad or anything. I think it's genuinely funny, and I'll be like, who cares? You made me laugh, and that's my favorite thing every day is to laugh.
Exactly,
and it is the best medicine. It sounds so corny. It sounds like it should be like in my kitchen.
Laughter
is the best medicine.
As a comedian,
like,
with that
so
in your
dumb.
kitchen.
Like my friends would literally roast me every day if I bought something like that.
I imagine you bringing that home to your comedian roommate.
Yeah, right. Danny would be like, "Oh, that's cute." No, she would like that actually.
I think Danny would just laugh at that.
She would call me corny for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, it would be corny.
This corny ass white bitch that I'm living with. That's how she'd address it on stage.
Laughter's the best medicine. No, but for real, I love to laugh. I love making people laugh. Mm-hmm. So that was like always my thing, like even just like as a kid.
Right.
Like that I was just like, yeah, I'm odd and I'm the class clown. Like I literally will just like say something if I think it's funny.
Yeah.
And if I get a couple chuckles, I live for it.
That's
like,
all I need.
I could get like booted out of the class. Like they'd be like, please go take a walk, and I'd be like, yeah. Success. I was like,
please go take a walk.
Dude, my best friend. Okay, so Catholic school, right?
Right.
When I had a nun in 6th grade, this lady hated me, and I lived for it. I lived every day to like fucking just hate this woman because she was just Sister Rosalie.
Oh,
rest in peace. She is dead now.
Oh, shit.
She was old. She was old when I was in 6th grade. She was old when I was in 6th grade.
Putting nuns on blast right now. But
I am, but she was like one of those old school ones that would like. You could tell that she whipped kids. Yeah, like, she loved it.
Like, she said to hell with the ruler, and she just broke out the whip.
Yeah. So me and my best friend, I would, like, goof around all the time with my best friend. Obviously, that's what you do when you're a kid. Right. I'm, like, 12. So I'm, like, goofing around. And she separated us. She, like, put us at, like, other sides of the classroom.
Also, you are the worst person for that other person's life. I want you to know this. Because from a class clown to another class clown, the people who always suffer the most are the ones who have nothing to do with it.
Friend, yeah.
And because I've also been on the other side of that.
Bystanders.
Exactly. I've been on the other side of that where I'm just dying laughing at my best friend. Yeah. And they get nothing. Yeah, they get nothing, but because of my laughter, I'm out in the hall. Exact situation happened in 7th grade. Miss Kelly, another Irish woman. I had this thing against Irish women, even though I don't know why. I love the accent. But
like the accent, but you bitches are crazy.
Cray. Well, that's
they're the fighting Irish, didn't you know?
But I was gonna say, but that isn't that also the stereotype for Irish women or redheads in general, Irish, Scottish, wherever red hair comes from. I don't know.
Vikings.
I think that's blonde hair.
No. Vikings. Okay. Red.
You know more about history than me.
Yeah.
What?
Spanish.
What are you doing? I know countries.
No, I want to go back to my sister's story, the nun.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
So
Sister
she separated
Rosalie.
me and my friend.
Yes, my bad.
Across the room. And what I would do then, I would like get it more elaborate. Like I would sneeze, but I would like do an insane sneeze.
An elaborate sneeze.
Oh, like what the like I like insane. Like I'd be yelling in class. She'd be like, "What, Caitlin?" And I would be like, "Are you gonna say God bless you?" Like I was like, "This is insane. You're a nun." She wanted me to die.
Do you want the unholy spirits to inflood me?
She grabbed my wrist one time and looked deep into my soul and told me if I didn't behave, there was a special place for me.
She told you to
and I was like, oh, that's aggressive.
That's a Catholic way of telling you to go to hell.
Yeah. Oh, and we would have all school mass. Oh, I was the worst in all school mass. I literally my friend suffered so much
exactly
because of me
in
mass.
How big was your school?
This was kindergarten through 8th grade.
Ooh, K through 8.
Catholic school, but I was in 5th and 6th grade only there.
Right.
Otherwise, I went to public school.
But that's like 13-year-olds.
Yeah.
Down to.
Also, my little brother, he said
4-year-olds.
"fuck" in church once, and it was the funniest thing that's ever happened.
How much younger is your brother?
Huh?
How much younger is your? Oh,
He was in kindergarten and I was in 6th grade.
oh,
So like, there's 6 years apart, 7 years apart from us.
and a clear influence.
Oh my God, it was so funny. I like literally was so funny. They called my mom and my mom was like, well, yeah, I mean, his father says it all the time. I'm not surprised. And the Catholic
His father's
school,
got a dirty Irish
the
mouth.
Catholic school was like, well, they're not allowed to say that. They will go to hell and burn it forever. And I was like, that's a little much for a 5-year-old. Like, it was like his eternal soul is damnation.
He still has time for confession.
It was something like,
Are
oh,
you doing?
fuck.
Are
It
you
didn't
doing
make any
that
sense.
at mass today? Like, or he still has time for confessions.
Yeah.
So your family's from Ireland. Your dad is fresh off the boat.
Fresh off the boat.
Fresh
off
off
the
the
plane. Off the
boat.
plane.
Okay, well, you know how the phrase, which is
Yeah.
also pretty.
Fresh off the boat. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's degrading, I think, but I think it was mostly.
I think it's more degrading to like Ellis Island people than it is to like people now.
I was gonna say it's more degrading to African slaves, but
For sure. My bad. My bad.
not to say
Oh
anyone's.
God.
Not to say my trauma trumps yours, but
I mean,
no, I
for
understand.
the record, they weren't immigrated.
They were
They were literally transported.
They
so
didn't
that
come
wasn't
here
the
by
same thing I was
choice.
talking about.
right. So I get no
Slavery.
slave. But actually, there's a lot of people that come back with, not a lot of people, but some call it the silent majority, will come back to that argument with, but the Irish were enslaved as indentured servants when they came to this country as well. So
Everybody was a fucking servant, dude.
all the immigrants
Everyone.
at that point. Yeah, I got you. I feel you.
I don't know. I mean, most people were
I thought
peasants.
you were the history buff here.
There's like
Most
okay, there's
people
like,
are peasants.
They are peasants. They were peasants, dude. There were more farmers than anything
But
all across Europe.
I don't know, dude. Most people are peasants.
I think so. I mean, think about it. I mean, even like think about like Mesopotamians that were just like digging around in the mud and shit.
This sounds like
they were
royalist.
farmers.
You are speaking in royalist behavior. Do you think your parents would be appreciative of this, as they love the royal family?
They don't.
No, I know.
Yeah. I was gonna say, wait a minute.
I was gonna say, okay,
I beat you to it.
Yeah,
I was
because
too
your
impatient,
father.
Sorry.
She doesn't know comedic timing. That's why she tells stories. Your parents are from Ireland.
Yes.
Well, your father, like we said, fresh off the boat.
Fresh off the boat.
And your mom.
Mama, Maureen.
They'll
Like
watch.
I'm like,
Yeah,
hey, what's up, Maureen?
Regular viewers of the show. Go on.
She was born in Chicago, but both of her parents are from Ireland.
Okay.
They came over also on a plane. It was so funny. My mom
I
said
have
that.
to specify.
My mom said that when she was like younger in school, like people would be like, "Oh, they like came off of a boat," and my mom would be like, "No, they took a plane. They came here in the 50s." Like
What year
my
are you-
mom was like, "What the fuck?" Like so
They
then
came
my
here
mom
in
like
the 50s, not the 1800s.
Yeah,
How old
literally.
do you think my parents are?
So I think that's like fresh off the boat. Oh, he took a plane. Like,
Yeah.
I got that from my mom because
Yeah.
I was like, well, get it right. Get the story right. It was.
It's
a plane.
just sternness.
They had planes.
It's that European sternness. No, it was a
So
plane.
my mom did also just be like, and they used to smoke cigarettes on that plane too. Like,
Yeah.
on their way over.
And you know what? Back then.
But yeah, no. They immigrated over here in the 50s,
Mhm.
and then my parents. Yeah. I mean, my mom was.
When did your dad come here?
My dad came over in the 80s. I want to say it was 86.
How old was he? Do you know?
21. He
21.
literally turned 21.
He had his whole adulthood in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean not
And
his
he
whole
was
his whole adulthood, but like his whole.
I would say
upbringing.
I would say that
I
would
mean,
be like my adulthood.
That's the big. I mean, it's
like
definitely
baby
your.
to 21.
It's your formation.
Yeah,
Definitely.
your definite formative years. For
Right,
sure.
and then you're taking this life now and going your established self
Yeah.
and going to another country.
And I can't even imagine doing that. Like
To-
that.
and
that
then
is
you're
the
progressing
coolest
your-
thing to me about my
yeah.
dad is that I'm like, I can't even imagine doing that.
right
Just
picking
going
up right
to another
now.
country.
Yeah,
My dad said he landed in Philadelphia, like knew somebody like from back home that was there, like did some odd jobs,
is
like
that
to
why
make
he
money.
went there? Like that's why he went
No,
to
he
Philadelphia?
literally was just like, I'm just gonna go. Yeah, he was like, I knew somebody in Philadelphia, basically. Then he knew somebody else in New Jersey, like a cousin. So then he went to New Jersey.
I was gonna say he had a backup plan.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, like, he was just like ready to make moves,
right?
Just doing odd jobs again. And then he was like, oh, I have more family in Chicago. Went to Chicago and just like established.
Wait, did he
his
discover
roots.
this family in Chicago?
No, like he knew that they were there, but it was like, okay, again, weird, right? 80s. My dad arrives. He doesn't know.
Crack.
He doesn't really know their phone numbers in Chicago.
Oh yeah.
He's 21. He wants to party. Like he's in America, dude. He's like,
so
hell yeah.
He's got to live his life until he's ready.
My dad was like me. Like I know 100%. My dad was like, I'm in America.
Well, also yeah,
I'm gonna go live with my relatives.
And I'm gonna drink all these Americans under the table while I'm here.
Yeah.
Also. Like, yeah, you got to live that life.
You got to live your life.
Until you can...
Dude, I had a wild ride in my early 20s. Like, I was like, I get it, Michael.
Right.
I get you, dude.
Hey, Mike, I got you.
We're one and the same.
But also, he basically just partied until technology was advanced enough for him.
I guess
to
I don't
get
really
to
know.
him.
Like that's the thing. My dad won't even like really like open up about it. We get like
I think that's very Irish.
It's so Irish and it's so annoying.
Right.
Because like we get like bits and pieces of the story as my life continues, and I'm like, are you real?
That's me with my grandpa. Like
yeah,
my
like,
papa is like
what? And then my dad's classic answer is,
Irish.
you didn't ask. And I was like, oh, I didn't know I had to ask about you. Most dads just tell their children their lives.
Right. That's called learning, like giving lessons to your children.
I'm like, okay.
Well, one time this thing happened to me, and this is why we don't do that. Like, even that. It's a small bit
I'll be like,
from
I
my
didn't
life.
know that you broke a man's nose. What are you talking about?
And this is why we don't get in bar fights, Caitlin.
Right. I'm like, what? Blown away. Very Irish thing. It's so literally, but also
it's called a Donnybrook, isn't it?
A Donnybrook, a good old fashioned.
A good old.
Fucking fuck you up, yeah.
Someone might lose an eye.
And
I've
seen it. I've seen it in person. So like, we've gone to Ireland, obviously, like a couple of times. My dad.
Don't say obviously.
Obviously.
Well, maybe because you're.
Maybe
like,
it's obvious for me.
You're like a half stepper, right? Because you're.
So when like people are like, "Oh, have you traveled?" and I'm like, "To Ireland," and I stay at my grandma's farm, where the house that she was born in, and all of her children were born at. So I was like, "Yeah, I go to Ireland." In case you wanted
to know how.
In case you want to know.
Authentic I am.
Everyone.
In case I don't look it.
Everyone is farmers.
Potatoes.
No.
Oh.
No, dairy farm.
I didn't even know they.
Family.
Oh well, I was gonna say I didn't know they grew anything else, but you don't grow cows.
You really, I'm gonna really open your mind about Ireland one of these days. I'm gonna take you aside.
I'm.
I know you didn't ask for it, but you're getting it.
I'm an eighth Irish.
You're like, they just grow potatoes. I'm like, oh, you're
dude,
like everybody else.
Dude, so much more. There's so much to see about Ireland. Every time I even say Ireland, I want to break into an accent, and
it's fun.
It is fun.
It's so fun.
And you were so closely associated with an accent in the home. I don't know who I was talking with Abby and my girlfriend. I was talking with Abby and my girlfriend about this, about how like if you want, there's nowhere really in America that you can be immersed in your home language unless you're an immigrant. That sounded very elitist. I don't know. Even just my anyway.
We're all immigrants. Slavery.
Amen.
I just know it's that. Whoa.
But,
Here we go again.
Slavery, but you know the notion.
You said immigrants sounded elitist. I was like, I'll make you feel better. I'll say it now.
I'll make you feel better. Unless you're a slave in America. No. But, like, there's nowhere in America that you can be, like, unless you're, once again, you have foreign parents or, like, immigrant parents, that you can be immersed in, like, a home language, a language you speak at home, but go out and then you are now speaking, like, your world is speaking a different language. So you're forced to be bilingual. But also Gaelic and, I mean, is there a heavy difference? Was there a heavy difference for your father?
No.
Because you know English.
So one of the things, like, why the Republic of Ireland, not Northern Ireland, is not... Northern Ireland is part of UK, is because there was a big war. England literally hated Ireland, ruled them, broke them every day. The potato famine
The
wasn't
potato?
that they were just out of potatoes. It was that the British also took everyone's meat and livestock and farms away.
Right.
And the potato was all that they had left. And then there was a plague that happened
On
with
the
their
potatoes?
only source of food then.
What kind of
the
plague?
British took it away.
So that is interesting.
So people were starving.
So
that's
all they
what it
had were
is
potatoes.
at that point. And then
Right.
there was a plague that happened to all the potatoes, and all of them went rotten.
Were like black potatoes?
And people
black
went starving. That's what it was. People were starving.
Mm.
But my family survived by eating seaweed. That's what I was told. Because we were like by the coast of the Atlantic. So I guess that makes sense. Like, but so Gaelic was eliminated. The British were like, no, that's paganism.
Wait.
Because Ireland is Celtic Druids and all that. And that was their language. Gaelic is an ancient language. And so, like, that's why, like, it's dead.
Like
It's
Latin.
a dead language.
Like Latin.
Yes, like Latin.
Right.
So it was only spoken by Celtic people.
So is your father a Celtic person or no? I don't know
No.
what
They
that
speak
means.
English now because it was illegal to speak Gaelic. So a lot
How
of people...
How long before?
What do you mean?
Like how long ago was it made illegal or
It was illegal
by British
in
rule?
the 1800s. That's
Okay,
what it is.
okay,
So that's
yeah.
why it became dead. Is that
Gotcha.
in the 1800s, people were not allowed to speak it.
Yeah.
But there were certain places that would like meet up and speak it so that they wouldn't lose their
So
culture.
it would carry on.
But that's why
yeah.
they speak English now, is
Right.
because Britain took over and that's their language.
Because
That's
Britain.
why a lot of places speak English.
Yeah, that's why
including America.
that's why most places
because
actually,
they were owned by the British Empire. Yeah.
they were owned and immigrated from.
Yeah.
But I don't even know where we were going before that. Where is this going? Are we back on? Yep. Awesome. Liddy Titty. Didn't want to miss another second. No, we just had to make sure that we didn't mess up, or the computer didn't mess up like last time. But I don't know
Yeah,
why I
because
did
you're going to
that.
run out of White Claws if it messes up again.
Exactly. And I only have one more for you, and that one's looking empty. God damn it. But
No, it's so nice. Guys,
No.
Hunter got me 2 White Claws.
because I knew what wouldn't be enough.
You absolutely knew that.
But I want to get back to you being from Wisconsin. And, oh, yeah, we were talking about the Irish accent being so readily accessible for you.
Yeah.
But also, I think how did your parents get to Wisconsin?
Oh, yeah, that's pretty interesting because I used to ask them that. I'd be like, what?
Yeah,
So-
because you said that.
Yeah, my whole family's in Chicago,
Chicago.
literally still.
Right.
So my mom's family's
And
in
now
Chicago.
and aren't your parents back in Chicago now?
Yes, and now they live in It makes no sense at all.
So you're
So,
like, hey, just grow up.
From what I've
this
gathered
foreign
over the
land.
years, like I said, the Irish, they do not tell you all of their
you
secrets
gotta
up
pry.
front.
You gotta pry it open.
You really got to read the book. You really got to like go through. Like,
They will not give you spark notes.
no.
Irish parents know.
That just give you
no
random
spark
things,
notes.
and you're like, well, I've never heard of that before, but I guess I should believe them because
Here's a
why would
new
they lie to me?
Here's a new thread. It's the thread of an Irish wool sweater. And that's what you
Yeah,
get.
I'm like, what? No, so we moved up to Wisconsin when I was in like 2nd grade. I was about to start. Okay, this is also it too. 2001. Picture it. We move up in June 2001 to Racine, Wisconsin. We were living in the suburbs of Chicago. The story that I got from my mom was that she wanted to move away from her family. She wanted, like, because my mom was getting dumped on by her sister's kids.
Right.
And my mom was like, I'm not a daycare. Like,
I'm
I'm
just a-
struggling
I'm a
raising
stay-
my children.
I'm a stay-at-home mom for my own.
Right, my
children.
dad at the time was going to college to get the job that he has now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, they were
Amen.
struggling. Like, my dad was
You
an
go, Mike.
immigrant, okay?
Michael.
Michael, give it up for Michael and Maureen. They did a really good job.
No soundboard.
They did their best, you know? They were they were my age when they had me.
Right. Ugh.
I couldn't even imagine that right now.
I
Ugh, gross.
wouldn't want to.
Oh, I am so irresponsible.
Kate with a kid.
Ugh, Kate with a kid. Little kid.
Kate with a kid. That could be a TBS sitcom. We saw how you interacted with my child, and it was foreign. It was like you were meeting an alien.
I'm entertained by anyone.
You're like, oh, that's
I'm
weird.
just a happy-go-lucky person.
You eat candy too?
No, goddamn mystery to me.
Well, if you're looking for dairy, you go to Wisconsin.
Oh, God, do I know dairy, man. Like, cheese is literally my
Between
life.
my upbringings,
I am cheese.
I
I am cheese.
I'm not only a cheese
And when I
head,
get high, I'm like, I'm shredded cheese.
I'm
like,
shredded. I'm melted cheese. Bro.
No, and then the other rumor was, the property tax is so low. Like, that's when my mom started getting this Wisconsin accent. I was like, what?
When she started,
The property tax is so low.
When she started,
the traffic's not bad. I was like,
when she started talking about the good parts of Wisconsin, that's when you felt her indoctrination to
yeah.
to
So
the state.
honestly, great question. To this day, I don't know why we moved to Wisconsin. I've been told little things that I don't know.
I
if they're
believe
true.
it's because it lends easily to your father's accent.
Right, but then to get away from my mom's family, that doesn't make sense. We had a beautiful dining room, so my mom hosted all of the holidays at our house.
Come on
up
to Wisconsin.
She made her siblings and cousins, my cousins, drive 2.5 hours to go have Thanksgiving with us.
Beautiful.
What a trap, Maureen.
I'm gonna move my
She did it.
I'm gonna move my family away to make everyone else travel.
Yeah, and then my brother was like about to start high school, and both my parents were working in Chicago again. They found themselves just working in Chicago.
Working 2.5 hours away?
Yes, my mom would take the train every day from Kenosha to Chicago to do her job, which I was like, she did that for a year and a half. I would literally not do that after 2 months.
No. In the
That's a 2.5
in the
hour train
21st
ride.
century.
Yes,
she
did
this.
that. Yeah, she's a Wonder Woman. I don't know why.
No, that's not a Wonder Woman. That's an idiot.
And my dad was working in like Waukegan, Illinois, which was
Maureen.
like 45 minutes away. But they were both working in Illinois, and I was like, this doesn't make any sense why we moved to Wisconsin.
That makes that's got to do
It's
something weird for your
sketchy.
taxes.
I don't know.
I'm just saying, you're paying.
Wasn't my life.
Are you paying different state income taxes because you're?
Yeah, right? Well, my mom only started working in Chicago
Yes, I
like
need
in
to-
the later years,
I
like
need
when
an
my brother
accountant.
was about to graduate middle school.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Graduate
we're talking,
middle school. That's
we're talking
what we call
like
it now?
20. Yeah, graduate middle school. Yeah, they had graduations for middle school.
I don't want to hear
Those
it.
are the stupidest
I know,
things
though.
ever.
I know. I have pictures from it. Go on.
Right? Everybody. Why did we do that?
It was at.
Why
the
did we
high-
have elementary
It's funny
graduations?
because it
and
was
shit?
at the high school. Like our 8th grade graduation was at the high school.
They're like, this is it.
This
what
is
you're
it.
gonna
This
see
is
next
where
year.
you're gonna be.
For the next 4 years, then you can do this again.
Yeah. At the stadium.
No,
But,
I literally don't. Yeah, I don't know why we moved to Wisconsin.
but like I said, I think it's I think it's because it
But
lends.
yeah, now they have a 2-bedroom apartment in Chicago, and I'm like,
Yeah, let's just go back. This whole Wisconsin thing. It was nice, but it's a real.
it was
bust.
nice, but like, I mean, like that's my identity. But now when I say it, like people are like, but your parents are in Chicago, and I'm like, I know it sounds like I made up my whole childhood. It literally, yeah, and the high school I went to sounds made up.
They just threw it all away.
My life just sounds like I just fell out of the sky, and I was like, here I am.
Here I am in Grand Rapids.
You want to hear some wacky stories?
That's all I'm good for. Wacky stories and a drinking partner. I'm Kait Carms. But I don't know why, but how, like the Midwestern accent and like the Minnesota accent.
I do love that accent.
But like it's
I think
so.
I would like try.
I think it's because it's so closely related. It seems to the Irish accent, Irish and Scottish.
It's
like,
the pronunciation of all the vowels. All the
Minnes-
vowels. Did you hear the
Minnesota-
vowels?
Yeah,
Pronunciation. See, I said
who
it.
says that? Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes people are like, "Are you from New York? What are you doing?"
No, it's.
I'm like, "No, but do you know somebody in Brooklyn? Because I will move."
I will move now. I've got the
Is he
Chicago.
single and ready? I don't care.
I got the Chicago
What's his
thing
credit
down.
score? What's his credit score look like?
I got the Chicago thing down. Can you take me to New York, please?
I'm ready to move.
I love accents. I think we all have fun
yeah.
with accents. And I don't know if I said this already, but like when someone breaks into an accent, breaks into an accent, usually people don't just do that.
I do. I break into accents.
Only obnoxious people do that. But when
Yeah, and my friends will be like, "Why are you doing that?"
But when I talk to someone with an accent, I always, for some reason, just adopt that accent. Like whether they're from the South, Hispanic. Like my cousin grew up in Zeeland in Holland, and he's just half Mexican, and for some reason he has an accent.
I've seen people do that, like on the spot. They'll just pick up an accent, and I'm like, "What are you doing?"
For me, it's only I don't know if it's like an empathic thing.
Yeah, I think that is true because like then you're like, I want to be like on the same level as you.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I'm just trying to communicate.
Yeah, like and also when so I took like French and I took German,
Right.
in school, and even when I was in German class in like college, my professor would be like, "Stop doing it in an accent.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to do like."
But shouldn't you?
No, reading exercises. I would be like,
No.
"Ich bin Fleischsuit." Like I would literally say it like that, and my professor would be like, "Stop doing that."
That's the wrong intonation.
They're like, she's like, immediately stop doing that. And then she'd be like, "I hope you're not gonna do study abroad."
Please don't.
She's
go
like,
there.
"You are gonna embarrass our school."
You will not last. Have you ever been deported
But
from
it
a
is.
country?
It's like a comfortability thing. Like I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, but I was also like
Wait,
using
is
it
it
to be
your
like, I'm gonna be on like SNL one day. Like I was
Yeah,
like, I'm just
I'm
gonna.
practicing
This is a bit.
impressions.
I'll take German.
Right? It's just a bit.
It's a bit.
And that comes from just wanting to make people laugh. Right?
Yeah, really.
Because whether it be because you didn't, do you think that was like a communication tactic or like a friend making tactic, a social tactic of just wanting to or trying to make people laugh, or was it just like
It was a social thing for sure, because like I was like bullied my whole life, so like to me like doing comedy was like, oh man,
I'm just gonna
hey,
embrace
like
it.
yeah, like let's embrace it and just be yourself. Like
Right.
what else could go wrong?
Exactly.
What else are they gonna call you? Dude?
I didn't learn about sex until they taught
I'd be
me.
like, good comeback. Have you fucking seen Louis C.K. special? Like that's
Yeah.
what it would be. Like I'd be
Right.
like,
I'm more
okay.
cultured than you.
I did find comfort just listening to comedy, and
Yeah.
that's why I really wanted to get into doing stand-up comedy, because like I love making people laugh. I love
Right.
to laugh.
Exactly.
But being a comic for me was like, I loved stand-up. It was the only thing that was there for me.
Right.
And it sounds like super weird, but
But
I'm like,
no,
it's like very sentimental to
Yeah.
me was comedy, always.
Exactly. And
People would like go to concerts.
that's what it's
I wanted to
there
go to
for,
clubs.
though.
I wanted to go to comedy clubs.
See, like concerts and music, it's set up to invoke different emotions and
Yeah.
different feelings. Whatever song it is will invoke joy or, just like looking back and remembrance.
And I think that like my brain waves are just like, I'm just more drawn to, I want to listen to stand-up.
I want to be joyous.
Yeah,
like, I
I
want
do.
laughter. I want happiness.
Yeah, and it is. It's great.
Exactly. And whether that be because do you think that's because we couldn't find that happiness within ourselves before?
But think about it, like why do you do comedy? I love to make people laugh.
Exactly.
So, like, you love to make people laugh. It feels
Right.
good. So that's what these comics were doing.
Yeah.
This whole time was just making everybody feel good.
Right.
So I was like, I love this. You're making me feel good. So now I want to learn from
Further
all
this.
of these.
Yeah.
Like I love that's the biggest part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just talking about like podcasts versus like stand-ups.
Yeah.
Is that I feel like I am more of just like a stand-up kind of gal.
Right.
I want to watch
Kind of gal.
stand-up kind of gal. I want to watch the stand-ups and I want
Mm-hmm.
to watch their full written performance.
Right.
They wrote this. They worked hard for an hour.
Right.
They memorized it. They have
Mhm.
the comedy cue down. And I think it's just amazing, like euphoria to see
Yeah.
that.
Definitely.
And I do love podcasts, but I pick podcasts that'll be like more riffing, like kind of like
Right.
what we're doing, right?
Yeah. And like,
Because I'm like, it's more like you get to
and
meet
stuff.
that person. You're
Right.
like, oh, this is like on the cue. Like,
But
what
that's
can they
exactly why I love podcasts, and that's
Yeah.
what got me like podcasts. Listening to podcasts gave me the confidence to get into stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Because I
do? Oh,
learned
that's awesome.
because I learned like by listening to so many podcasts.
Yeah.
But like WTF with Mark Maron, and a little bit of Rogan, but where comics got on and like YMH, Your Mom's House, Tom Segura and
Yeah.
Christina and Tiger Belly. Like those were the podcasts where I heard, but most of all WTF. Anyways, those are the podcasts where I heard comedians talk about
Yeah.
their journey, like their whole process of how they found stand-up.
Yeah.
And that was after I had loved some of these comedians and comedic actors and things like that. But just hearing their inspirations and what drove them helped me find that drive in myself, because I was being inspired by someone who had already inspired me. I had learned more about them because
Yeah.
it was more than just their act. Obviously, we got to see them.
Yeah.
And then that's when I think their art draws you in. I think to anyone, their art draws you in to their personality, which I think you can truly admire, but also you don't have to.
Yeah.
Like, no matter the artist, you don't have to acknowledge even their personality, but you're like, I think that's the freedom to be like, but I love R. Kelly's music. No,
No, that is a really good point. Like that is what comedy brings that's different than music, though.
right.
Is that music will make you feel different things, but also like it could be like as simple as like, you know, Miley Cyrus is in a loving relationship, but she is singing about heartbreak.
Right.
Beyonce is happily married, right?
Right. Singing about single lady. Well, we don't know about happily, but
Good.
we'll go.
Happily married, but you know, like she'll write songs like Irreplaceable.
Right.
Well, she didn't write that one, but that was a bad example. But
yes,
you know, like she'll sing these heart-wrenching songs for you to feel that.
Right.
Comedy, you're getting to know that person just by their tone of voice, their stage presence, if you're watching them,
and their content.
Right.
And I mean, you fall in love there, and then but you realize thank you to the age of podcasts that you can dive so much deeper.
You can get way deeper with podcasts now,
and I love that. But so you're from Racine. I did jot down some topics here.
About Racine, my hometown?
Oh, no, not at all. Well, actually, just one. You're from Racine, and it's actually been brought to my attention. I don't know. I saw on Twitter earlier today that Kyle Rittenhouse actually was just seen in Racine at a bar drinking with his mom, fresh off bail.
Put them both back in jail.
I don't think his mom was.
She needs to.
I was gonna say. I thought people were obviously ridiculing his mother. I think more for her parenting methods than.
I think also because she drove him to that.
Yeah, that's why. With
AK-47, and was like, "Yeah, son, go protect that building."
Was it
what?
an AK-47 or an AR-15? Kate?
I don't even. You know what? Honestly, sorry.
NRA.
NRA. My apologies. I don't keep up with the times on those. I don't.
I just know an assault rifle when I see one.
Yeah.
No, I don't. But
dude, I called all my friends that day.
When the Kenosha.
I grew up literally 15 minutes away from Kenosha.
Really?
So yeah, and that's where that was happening was where the train station was, where my mom took the train every day to Chicago. Like we would go.
It was a very sentimental
we would go fuck
thing.
around in Kenosha all the time. It was downtown Kenosha. Like
see, I only knew Kenosha.
And no one knew what Kenosha was until this happened. And I was like,
no one knew what Kenosha was until that '70s show. Yep. Yeah. Eric went to a concert in Kenosha. Who was it? Ted Nugent, I think.
Which I'm always like,
no,
what concert? Like I would watch. We would watch that show and we were like, what fucking concert in Kenosha? We're like, get the fuck out of here. They went to Elkhorn. Like we're like, that's where all the concerts are.
I think they went to a wrestling match. And no.
Probably. I believe it. No. Oh my god. Me and my friends, we were like obsessed with that 70s show. We're like, this is about us.
Exactly. All of my.
Like, this is us.
All of my knowledge of that '70s show or of Wisconsin came from that '70s show.
Yeah. And I would have like a friend that would be like, well, Kate's definitely not Jackie. And I was like, yeah, I'm definitely not Jackie, obviously. I'm smart.
That's it.
And I was like, yeah, I'm not Donna because I don't speak my mind all the time. Like,
I don't.
I was like, I'm a little quiet.
You're really speaking into like the character.
Yeah, I was definitely Kitty Foreman. I was totally Kitty Foreman.
Also,
when my friend said that to me one day, I was like, 100% I'm
100%. No, makes sense. I'm an alcoholic.
And the laugh. It's the laugh.
Yeah, I wish you had her laugh, but maybe it's you need more.
That's iconic. That was an iconic
Yeah,
laugh.
you need more of an accent. So, how did you come to Grand Rapids from Racine, Wisconsin?
Yeah, well, this little girl had dreams. I had to go to college. That was like a request of my parents.
Right.
Firstborn has to go to college. So I was picking out colleges, and I found Aquinas College. Now, and this is the worst part. I got accepted to St. Mary's College in South Bend, Indiana, right across the street from Notre Dame.
Yeah.
But they didn't offer me enough scholarships, and my parents were like, no.
Wait, that sounds interesting that they're both Catholic schools, right?
Yes.
And it almost sounds like that's the women's school, and Notre Dame.
It was an all-girls school.
But
St.
Notre
Mary's
Dame isn't.
No, yeah,
Like an
they're
all-men's
now
school.
co-ed. They became co-ed like in the 80s.
Really?
Mm-hmm. They were all boys school, and
So
that was
was
the
it
all girls school.
Wow, that is
And they're like
interesting.
across the street from each other,
Right.
literally.
That makes
but
sense.
then Notre Dame became co-ed, like I think in like the 70s or 80s.
And then just started pulling from St. Mary's,
Yeah,
was
and
it
that
St. Mary's.
St. Mary's College,
Yeah.
and it's still all women only.
Yeah.
But I was also like, ew, I don't want to go to an all-girls school. Like, my mom was like, I went to an all-girls school. And I was like, yeah, you're fucking weird. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm trying to,
Yeah,
like.
look at you.
I was also like,
Maureen.
I didn't have sex in high school. I'm ready to bone now. Like, I was like, I'm ready to, like, release myself.
And because you went to an all-girls school, I know nothing about sex.
Yeah, I was like, I'm definitely not going to an all-girls school unless you want something else to happen to me.
I don't. Wait, what's this up? You must elaborate. Oh, unless you want me to become a lesbian.
You know, like, yeah. I was
Okay.
like, you know, like, that would be like, oh, you know what they say about all-girls schools? Like,
No. I don't know what they say, but I'm guessing I'm going to find out.
that's what they say.
No, okay.
They say that.
They say that.
They say that.
That's what they say. They say that. So you
Yeah,
came to
so and I was
Aquinas?
also like, I was like, I want to go far away from home, but not so far away that if an emergency happened,
right.
I'd be fucked.
But
So I
how
picked Michigan.
How
And Grand Rapids gave me a ton of scholarships for my freshman year.
well, that's good.
Because I did
Aquinas?
I went to Aquinas
But
in Grand Rapids.
So you grew up Catholic your whole life or no?
Yeah.
And then you went to not a Catholic school.
No. And also like the thing is, okay, so about like, are you Catholic?
No.
Okay, so right, yeah.
I grew up Assemblies of God, which is Pentecostal Christian.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. So with Catholics, it's like you have your baptism and then you have your first communion. So when you're like older, you're supposed to have a confirmation, and that means
Right.
you get to choose if you want to stay in the religion or not.
But also, if you choose not to, don't talk to us. Is
right.
that- yeah.
Well, kind of, but also they're like this is their big
The
sales
big
pitch.
reveal.
This is the big sales pitch for the Catholic Church. If you say no to this, you can never ever get married in a Catholic church.
Yeah.
The problem is, I don't care about that.
Right.
But my family, being so Irish Catholic,
Yeah, of course.
would never go to my wedding if it was not Catholic.
Jeez. So
So like that is in my brain as a child.
So what
is that
happened
I'm
with
like,
your confirmation?
oh, nobody will come to my wedding if I'm not in a Catholic church, so I have to commit to Catholicism. It's a cult, guys.
I'm committing
It's
to
a
this
cult.
bit. Just think of it as a bit. Yeah, I'm committing to this bit so my parents will be happy. That's the
So
group I'm trying to make
dang.
laugh. That's
I'm just trying to please you.
the big payoff. You guys get this? The funniest bit. I'm going to pretend to be Catholic my whole life.
My whole life.
So
and
my
I'm only going to
family-
altar serve for fun.
So my family, get this. The big payoff, though. My family will come to my wedding.
So they'll pay for it, literally.
So, okay, yeah.
So that my parents will pay for it.
The payoff, actually, pretty big payoff. It's a free wedding.
Also, I want to like just make an announcement. If you've ever been to an Irish Catholic wedding, they give you the option if you want to do a long wedding or a short wedding. So if you've ever been to a long Irish Catholic wedding, you have terrible friends.
They made that choice.
They made that choice, and they made you sit in church for 2.5 hours.
But who? Yeah, I was gonna say
For no reason.
Who except the most devout Catholic?
My parents,
And-
they did it.
And
They made communion.
I was gonna say who besides the most devout Catholic or the biggest asshole would choose the
Right.
long.
Yeah, and I bet.
Wedding
Okay,
service.
and that's the thing. Like, I had a friend that got married this summer, and she was Catholic, and so we went to her wedding, and I literally asked her. I said,
What'd you do?
"Is this a short one or is this the long one?" Because all of my family weddings that I ever been to, long Irish weddings,
Right.
that are 2 hours long. My cousin's singing. I get to do a speech. You know
I
what I
get
mean?
to
Like,
do-
yeah, like it was insane.
only reason
It's
I
a
show up-
family affair.
The only reason I show up is because they give me a mic, and I'm like, all right,
I did. I was
you're
like,
paying me, right?
my uncle was like, "Hey, do you want to sing a song or do you want?" Like, he was like asking us, "Or do you want to read the gospel?" I was
You're
like, "Give me the gospel." And I
right.
was
No,
like,
I got a tight 10.
I'm gonna kill this performance. Yeah, I got a tight 10 on this. Like, literally, like, if you want to know where my microform it started
Yeah,
probably in
microform
third grade
stance.
with
Go on.
like plays and stuff, but it was definitely church because
Mm-hmm.
every year for the why am I
You're
forgetting?
gonna have to explain
Christmas?
mass to me. Oh.
Christmas. That's what I was trying to think of.
Every year for the
For the what is it? Oh, Christmas.
It was 2 weeks ago.
So like they would like do like the story of Jesus was when he was born, right? And like they do like the whole. Did you guys have that at your church where you act it out? You have like people like, I'm a shepherd. Yeah.
The nativity. Yeah.
My killer best performance I ever had. 10 years old narrator.
Oof.
Killed it.
Riffin'.
I
even
even
have
dressed
the
up for the part. My mom put a pillowcase on my head so that I look like a shepherd.
Oof.
It was satin.
I was gonna say with a pillowcase on your head, you could have gone two ways.
Well, she did like a thing, so it literally looked like I was like Bethlehem or something,
and not like a pointy.
My
top,
performance
right?
was through the roof. I remember
Beautiful.
like really like.
So you are a good actor.
Oh
okay.
yeah.
I should have trusted your acting skills then when we could have done a second take.
Oh yeah, we didn't do. Thank you so much.
Of course. I just knew you would appreciate it.
It's like the best thing I've ever had.
Your appreciation is.
I can cry on cue, but I won't do that right now.
I could between the ages of 8 and 14 because it was very useful.
I'm just kidding. Like, do you hire actors? Like, yeah, that is what I'm looking for though. Is
do you hire actors?
No, like,
how do actors get jobs?
I said this at Parrots one night. I was like, I'm obsessed with that show Ghost Adventures, and I'm like, what do I have to do to be like one of those things just floating in the hallway? To be like a ghost, you know what I mean? Or like I watch crime shows all the time. Can I be a dead body? How do I audition for that? I literally will just be dead.
Just send them your tape.
Yeah, I'll be like one of those people that finds a body too.
I'll send you my reel. I'll send you my reel.
I'll be the bartender.
They ain't been here in a while.
I know. Yeah, I know everybody. Like John Mulaney says.
Yeah,
like,
I was just gonna
the
say.
bartender in New York who knows everyone. He's like, I don't know my neighbors.
Who knows everything about everyone? That
Oh yeah,
the bar.
he came in last Thursday, left at 10:08. Like I want that job, and I want to know, like, is it hard?
Is it hard? All right, I got to go rapid fire questions with you because we're running out of time. One, so you came to Aquinas, guessing 2012,
2013. Yep.
2012, 2013. Started comedy, but what, 5 years later?
Yeah, I'd say 4 years. Yeah. Yeah. I moved back to Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
Lived there for another year. Moved to Chicago again with my parents when they moved.
Why?
A lot, yeah. Because I wasn't going back to college. I literally did 1 year.
You
just
had to go with wherever.
Yeah, I was
your
like, I
parents
didn't
were.
do that great. My grades were not good.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, honestly, I wanted to party, and I wasn't. This place sucks. There's not a lot of parties. I should have went to Notre Dame.
Yeah, it's a Christian college.
I was like, I should have went to Notre Dame. Like I was like, what are you fucking kidding me?
So
yeah.
What brought you back to Grand Rapids then? When did you
I
come
made
back?
a lot of friends when I went to college here, so I kept in touch with everybody. I came to visit
Social
Grand Rapids all the
butterfly.
time. I had my 21st birthday in Grand Rapids
Mm-hmm.
with my friends who were older than me, so like they were able to go out.
Right.
And my friends from back home in Wisconsin, I was the oldest.
Right.
So none of them could go out with me anyway. So like
Screw
it was
you
like,
guys, I'm going to the big city.
Yeah, it was like that. So I had like a repeating visiting cycle coming to Grand Rapids.
Repetitive.
I came to Grand Rapids all the time to visit my friends. 5 times a year.
Right.
More than that sometimes.
And then in like 2017 you just
2016
decided to,
I was like, I'll make the move.
Yeah.
I was like, this is stupid. And I also don't want to live with my parents anymore.
I'm wasting so much gas
I literally
going
am.
to somewhere I'd rather be
Yeah,
all the time. Why don't I
all
just
the time,
be
yeah.
there all the time?
So I made the move, and then shortly after that, I was like, all right, I've been talking about doing comedy for years now. Let's fucking do it.
Hell yeah.
Pull the fucking strings, go.
Growing up, who were you watching stand-up wise?
Oh my god, so many people. Jerry Seinfeld was a huge thing.
Really?
Me. Yeah,
Like,
I
the show Seinfeld or
Seinfeld the show I didn't really watch until I was older, just because I didn't understand it. But I remember my parents having vinyl of Jerry Seinfeld that I would listen to.
They
had Bill
valuable.
Cosby.
Of course.
Vinyl. They had
They had a lot of your parents
my mom,
were.
Yeah, my mom had vinyls of comedians. My mom liked comedians. She liked to listen to them.
See, I don't hear a lot of that.
Yeah, my mom liked listening to comedians. That sounds very familiar, but I don't know.
Super dry.
I'm like, I don't know if like off the top of my head now.
I actually heard of Stephen.
If I saw a picture, probably.
I heard of Stephen. I think that's a parent's favorite too. Yeah, I heard of Stephen Wright. Yeah.
Well, even to the point now, like my mom loves that show, Mrs. Maisel.
Oh yeah.
Because she's
Exactly.
like, I was listening to those records. Like when I was like, I was listening to that.
I was.
Which is
Did
cool.
you watch
My
the
mom loved
Comedy
comedy.
Store
So.
documentary?
No, not yet.
It's on Showtime.
Not
you
yet.
guys should watch it.
Are we plugging Showtime?
Yeah, plugging Showtime. I'm looking for a sponsorship. But that's how I got introduced to Stephen Wright.
Yeah.
It's so long overdue, but yeah, so that's so awesome that you actually got to grow up with stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Like my mom, like at an older age.
My mom let me listen to stand-up because she knew that I loved it.
Oh yeah.
And like the other guy, Dane Cook.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's who.
Oh my God, he was my main. He still is like
because
a main
that was
inspiration
stand-up
to me.
that your friends knew about too.
Yeah.
Like no matter what if you were a stand-up like lover, your friends also knew
and Dane Cook was and he was hot, and you were like, oh my God,
yeah.
and he was so funny, and it was
Right.
like, and I still gather inspiration from him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like it got to the point where I watched Dane Cook so much, I listened to him so much, I memorized his sets.
Right.
So there were times that I would be around my friends and there would be nothing to do, and I could recite the whole B&E joke, and it was my favorite thing to do.
Bacon and eggs.
Yeah, like everybody was like, oh my God, bacon eggs.
All right, so that leads us perfectly into we're gonna wrap it up here shortly, but what's the most recent? Okay, I had asked you earlier your most recent stand-up special that you'd watched.
I did not prepare for this test.
But it doesn't matter to me. But I want to hear your favorite joke. Like maybe it's from.
Oh, that's
you had
so
said
hard.
you had said you watched Jim Gaffigan.
I just
special.
watched Jim Gaffigan.
Was it Cinco or
no? It was ape.
Okay.
Giant ape.
Yeah. So what?
That was really, I'm not really sticking anything from that. Most recently that I've listened to would be Tom Papa. If you don't know him, please look him up.
Right.
Tom Papa was telling the story. It was on actually one of my favorite Comedy Central shows. So a lot of what I did then was just watch Comedy Central.
Right.
Right? Like Kumail Nanjiani and
nice try.
Jonah Ray.
Right.
Their show phenomenal to me. It was like you got to watch all these stand-up shows. I'm blanking on the
me
name.
too.
Comedy Basement? No, that doesn't make sense. It wasn't a basement.
But then things like this
and like At Midnight, like this is like honestly like when people are like, oh,
At Midnight introduced me to so many comedians,
comics,
so
good. Many comedians that then I was like, oh my God, Laugh Fest is the best thing in the world, and I get to live in it. You know what I mean? But yeah, Comedy Central and At Midnight literally introduced me to so many, and we had that bond over that like At Midnight stuff.
Oh, dude, definitely.
And same like when people are like, "Oh, you like comedians, but most of your list is male." Yes, most comedians are male, and it is hard.
It's a male-dominant
to do
industry.
A female comedian. But I love Comedy Central because they do pull the women out for you. Nikki Glazer, I was like finally introduced to her. I knew who Amy Schumer was, but it wasn't until a show that I was like, oh, this is her.
Right.
This is not happening is my favorite.
Exactly. I was gonna say besides like
and
after At
Midnight,
Midnight,
watch would be like a joke like from that I literally remember.
It was that the Tom Papa joke.
It is a Tom Papa joke. It's not the Catholic one, but it was the first time he ever got high, and he was at a wedding, and he was 10 years old, and everybody said to keep away from his Uncle Al because his Uncle Al just got everybody high.
Right.
And they were 10, so they were like in their little businessman suits. That's what he says. And he goes, they like just got blown smoke on them, and then the adults were like, hey, just go around that side of the building, and they left, and they were like, we don't know where we are, and we're high as fuck. And like the whole thing is just so funny to me. Like the whole story, you got to check it out. The whole story is so funny.
That's what we're here to do.
Because it reminds me of the first time that I ever got high.
Right.
And that's where you pull your inspiration from.
Yeah.
And that's why I like storytelling.
Because then you have to think, and it
because I'm pulling
provokes
on my
you
own
to
life, but then I can also like, I'm an adult now. So like, let's turn up the ante. Let's use some big girl words.
Yeah. And let's also look on it retrospectively.
And let me think about myself as 27 years old.
Looking
compared
back
to what I was thinking when I was 12.
Yeah,
you know
looking back at your 13-year-old self.
It's really fun to like do that. So yeah, that is why I do love the storytelling comedy.
Of course. I just wanted to give you then. This is going to be a reoccurring thing with guests, especially here in January when I'm asking comedians. But I do want to. We don't have segments here, but we're making them up as we go. But I am
Where's this going?
Where is this going? You'll see. But I'm going to start asking artists their favorite most recent, work of one of their inspirations or something like that.
Yeah.
So for comedians, it's, your favorite joke of the last special or something you had watched.
Yeah.
For other artists, your favorite song of a new release of your favorite artist,
Yeah.
Anyways, I just watched.
Keeps it going, and it also keeps people to be like, oh, and hopefully maybe you'll look
People
up Tom
will
Papa
look 'em up.
because that is a
Exactly.
really great fucking bit.
That's what when I
It's a
said
really
that's
great
what we're
show.
here for. That's what I mean. It's to turn on people to our inspirations. I need you.
Watch an old Dane Cook special. Like, don't sleep on him. He was so great.
Right.
He was so great.
And maybe he needs the money now because his brother took it all. But I just watched the comedy lineup part 1
I'm gonna
on Netflix.
Get into that now.
It has Taylor Tomlinson, Sam J, Tim Dillon, Ian Carmel, other people.
I love Ian Carmel.
Me too.
Actually, yeah.
And I love Tim. I love all of those people.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, I do. I love all those people. And I was like, oh.
But
Ian
Sam,
Carmel, haven't heard of
right.
him in a while.
But Sam J's bit about Donald Trump being like a Tupac like character, basically spitting at the camera. I'm not gonna give away the whole bit, but like that's like an observation of personalities that I love, like because I love observational humor. Whereas you love stories, like I'd like to think of you as Kate Kreischer because you are the female machine. Like you are Bert in a Wisconsin.
I love Bert
female.
though. Like Bert is so great.
Right, but I love Tom. I love observational and stories.
Yeah.
But like stories from an observational point of view.
It's like the stream of consciousness is almost like too hard for me to grasp.
Right, but it
is a really hard thing to do. Like,
yeah, definitely.
Comedy is really hard to like write.
Yeah,
it really is. Because you're like, I gotta get this.
You're telling
me.
You
gotta do the timing. Yeah, it's a whole thing, guys.
But Sam J's observation of Donald Trump and the comparison between him and Tupac and just saying basically that he's a hood nigga and that like wake up. My favorite line from it was like wakes up in the morning, first priority, check these bitches. And that was so look up Sam J on the comedy lineup. Also Tim Dillon, Taylor Tomlinson, Ian Carmel.
Go on YouTube and watch all these old Comedy Central shows too again.
And
those are fun. We were watching at midnight that one
yes.
night at your house.
Kate, so thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for the
White Claws. Of course, got to promote the brand. We will have you on again, I'm sure, because this was really fun. And we get carried away easily. Like we said before, the Irish, there's a lot to unpack. Yeah. So I look forward to coming back. Beautiful. You can follow Kate on Instagram. Kate Carms. Facebook. What's your Facebook? Facebook and YouTube is Kate Comedy. Kate Comedy. Check K-A-I-T. Check out her YouTube page, Kate Comedy, where she has her intoxicated chats and my stand-ups and stand-up clips. But her intoxicated chats are basically drunk history. Again, I love Comedy Central. Exactly. She's a child of Comedy Central. I didn't take it. But you can also follow History with Humor is what I do. Yeah, beautiful, and it's informative and hilarious. That's what we need. Yeah. And you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at _Hunter Miles. You can follow the pod on Instagram at Where Is This Going Pod, and on Twitter at Where Is This GoPo. Go ahead and like and subscribe. Do all the things. Tell your friends, please. Spread the word so they can hear this beautiful conversation with this lovely, funny, amazing comedian and friend, Kait Carmody. Follow her, promote her, support her, and thank you for listening. Appreciate you. Bye. Bye.